Despite all the efforts of the international community to stop the armed aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine, the Kremlin, as indicated, continues to terrorize Ukrainians. Throughout April, the number of attacks by enemy aircraft on the positions of the Defense Forces and Ukrainian settlements using guided aerial bombs increased. In April, Russian aviation dropped over 5,000 KABs on the positions of Defense Forces units and frontline settlements. A quarter of them, over 1,200, were used by the enemy against the positions of our troops in the Kursk region, the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine reported. According to the Ministry of Defense, the enemy used about 40,000 guided aerial bombs last year in 2024. And since the beginning of 2025, enemy aircraft have dropped over 15,000 KABs. As President Volodymyr Zelenski noted in early April, one of the biggest problems today is Russian strikes with guided aerial bombs. In particular, Zelensky noted that Ukraine does not have the necessary number of missiles for air defense to counter the threat. The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense also previously warned that the enemy has increased guided aerial bomb attacks since the beginning of the year. Following last night's shelling, Zelensky called on the West to pressure the terrorist state into peace. Equipped with wings to help them glide over dozens of kilometers, the bombs are part of an arsenal developed by Russia to let it hit deeper into Ukrainian territory and stretch the front line. Ukraine, too, has used drones extensively throughout the conflict. For frontline hits and reconnaissance for long-range strikes deep inside Russian territory, the relatively cheap drones are ever present at the front, leading both sides to develop various electronic warfare tools to neutralize them. To overcome jamming, both have developed fiber optic drones equipped with thin cables tethered to the operator, rendering them immune to radio or signal interference. The fiber optic drones can reach up to 20 kilometers. Soldiers often resort to shotguns, whose multiple pellets are useful to shoot down the nimble drones. The threat also complicates the provision of medical aid to wounded soldiers.
Drone operators of the Sila Svobody battalion of the Rubesh brigade under the Ukrainian armed forces have prevented another attack by the occupying Russian army soldiers who were trying to advance with armored combat vehicles. The vehicles and infantrymen equipped with anti-drone ground systems became the targets of the missiles fired from the drones. Although some of the infantry tried to advance at night, they were detected by night vision devices and destroyed by the missiles fired from the drones. As a result, 24 servicemen, 1 infantry fighting vehicle and 1 motorcycle were destroyed by drone strikes, and the Russian attack was unsuccessful.